Help us to urge folks and say to them, look, it's time to roll up your sleeves and get the shot. And if you already have, let's talk to somebody else we know who hasn't and let them know now is the time to get this done. And the bottom line is that getting vaccinated is safe. We, I think, all embrace, whatever our background, the spirit of love thy neighbor. And getting vaccinated is truly an extension of that. And it's about not only our neighbor next door, it's about the man on the side of the street. It's about seeing in the face of a perfect stranger a friend and interacting with them in that spirit.
Eso es lo que lo está jodiendo, la vacuna, entonces.
I'm here because my children lost their father to one of these injections. I'm here because a friend of mine lost his 16-year-old son to an injection. As a medical professional, I know what vaccines are, and this is not a vaccine. Use your voices and help me protect our children, because that's what it takes. Our voices, our humanity depends on it. The future of our nation depends on it. The future of the world depends on it.
Is it mellowing out at all?
No.
deep breaths. Deep breaths, darling. Just try and breathe. Try and be calm.
Hey guys, I just wanted to come on here and do a quick little health update. For those of you who are new here, I have some sort of mysterious process going on that's causing masses to form in my head. In the past year, these have caused 2 strokes as well as the blindness in my right eye. I know some people were confused. They were like, girl, why are you going to the ER? Your eye's just swollen, relax. But I promise it's a little more serious than that. This is a reminder not to make judgments about someone's medical history based off of one TikTok.
So this is my half face after reading all of your beautiful, beautiful messages. Thank you. Obviously, tear ducts work in both eyes with Bell's palsy, which is good because, as you can see, blinking does not automatically happen on the left side. So these are all fun facts that I'm learning and will share with everyone. Yeah, I'll show you my eye patch next. It's fun.
Si no vaig a la cadireta, porta la cadireta. Demà, passa tu. Això.
Just breathe.
So I've tried making this a few times and deleted the posts. I'm looking for doctors at TikTok, medical TikTok. I can't feel this part of my face. It's numb. I can't feel my teeth when I'm brushing my teeth. And let's see, I've had a CT scan and multiple blood draws. MRI is scheduled for the 3rd. And so far, no results from the doctor. I've been to the ER. They told me good reasoning to come to the ER. They also thought I was having a stroke. But nothing came back as that. I'm at a loss. It started about the middle of the month-ish. It started feeling like I just drank some hot tea and burnt my tongue. And nothing more. Does anyone have any idea? Because the doctors are all at a loss, and I feel like I'm not being believed anymore.
That booster shot, it's been almost 3 weeks now, and my sinuses are horrible. The pressure on my head, my forehead, is terrible. Just touching it hurts a lot. The mucus and the blood are still coming out of the right nostril. So this was from my booster. And I was all dried up and then couple hours after I got the booster, it hit me again. Same symptoms from the vaccine. Thank you.
I am injured by this vaccine, like the Pfizer COVID vaccine, and I'm unable to walk. As you can see, I'm in a wheelchair.
But were you able to walk before the vaccination?
Yeah, I was really healthy. I was actually like outgoing. Like I was in a yearbook community, and I was like really happy and all that. Right after the vaccine, I just started getting really sick, and like now I'm having a hard time like walking. Like this leg here, it twitches a lot at night, and it feels like electric shocks going up and down my legs.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So how soon after the vaccination did you start realizing you were seeing the
it started happening like around the fourth day after the vaccine. My knee. No, that was when my knee all the way up to my waist became like numb, like paralyzed. My spine, all along my spine was like painful. Like my mom, she tried to rub it with like a cream, and I was just crying in so much pain.
So I got 2 shots of Pfizer, both shots in December that just passed, and they did 3 weeks apart rather than the 8 weeks, even though that's when the recommendation came out. But anyways, so yeah, mine's totally messed. I was so regular that my husband was actually keeping track of it for me. But other than being irregular, the PMS, the blood itself is actually quite different. I won't get into it because it'll gross people out. I have headaches almost every single day. I'm nauseous all the time. I have a really hard time eating anything ever. It's kind of disturbing. I've lost a lot of weight because of that. And then you have people who will go and discredit your lived experience because they just disagree with what you're saying. So way to like just completely devalue a human experience. Just, that's awesome. Oh yeah, and fun fact, my youngest is 5 years old, and since getting the second shot, my breast milk has started coming back in. I am not pregnant, so that's always fun too.
She's having some kind of a flare again. Her face is numb again. She's had some upper body convulsions. She can't hold her head up again, just like in the very beginning, what, seven months ago? It just started randomly today, so I'm taking her to Emerge to see if they can figure out how to help her, which they probably can't because nobody's been able to help her so far.
I'm sitting outside Kootenai Lake Hospital with Kristen, and we were just in there trying to get her some help, and the doctor literally said that there was no point in doing any more tests that were already done because they've already been done and they didn't show anything, and there was no medication that she's taken already that helped her. So he basically gave her some Ativan, and now we're sitting on the sidewalk. So I guess that's what you get when you go to the hospital with a vaccine injury. You get treated like shit. You get told that there's nothing they can do to help you.
He just said I had a vaccine sensitivity.
No one can help her, and yet everyone is saying, please, go get this vaccine because it's good for you and it's gonna save the world. And does this look like it's saving anybody? I can't breathe. This is shit. It's so fucked.
So this never happened before? You never had this shake?
No.
This is something that's happened after you had the second booster, the second injection?
Yeah.
You've never shook like that? Okay, thanks, Mum.
Yeah, you're right. right?
After I got my second shot in July, I wasn't feeling well. I was really, really sick. Scabs and redness and blisters. I'm burning. I'm in a lot of pain. And when I went to the hospital, I go, could it be from the Pfizer? And the emergency doctor said, no, I don't think it is. I don't want this pain anymore. I want to get back to normal. At one point last week, I was so low, I was ready to commit suicide. The Renfrew County Health Department, they want me to take booster shots. Sue their ass off the government, because they have no right to tell people what to do.
Okay, guys, it is Friday the 14th, 9 p.m. I'm here with Cody. And Cody has a story that I think is really important to tell. He is from
Cleveland, Mississippi.
And you were a
agricultural pilot.
And tell us what happened.
Got the vaccine naively February 1st. February 3rd, did my first flying job of the year. Encountered brain swelling, tunnel vision, flew for an hour and a half before the brain swelling became too much to handle and both of my inner ears blew out. Subsequently, I've had 2 surgeries trying to repair the damages, 6 spinal taps, lost my way to make income, lost my medical that's required to have to keep your pilot's license current, have no way to move forward, really. The same federal agency, self-regulating agency, FAA, that encouraged me to get the vaccine 2 days after FDA gave the green light to all Americans. Like I said, encouraged me to get it, went and got it. The same self-regulating agency also has the power to take your medical from you, and which they have.
So you said that you were going to buy this business. You've been flying since you're 19. He's a crop duster. He sprays, treats agriculture from above in a plane. Loved it. Planned on buying it. Has 2 little ones. And can you fly again?
Never again.
Never again. This is what's happening. These are real stories that are happening all across the country. So Cody, man, I'm sorry that happened. What's your plan?
Pick up the pieces and move on, and tell people don't be naive and gullible like I was. Question everything. Don't believe what you're being told. It's you have the final decision. End of story.
Mamãe. Pai, não tá acordando. Não tá boa. Perdendo todos os tipos de boa voz.
Chama ela.
Mamãe? Tá acordado? Não é mesmo? Muito bem. Café. Quer café? Cadê o meu café? Mamãe? Pai, ela tá muito quente. Mamãe.
So this cannot just be me, and I wish that they would have discussed this when everyone was being rushed to go get a COVID vaccine and being told it's not going to affect your fertility, it's not going to affect you, you'll be fine. I got the COVID vaccine. I got Pfizer, 2 doses. I think I'm probably like a month or 6 weeks out. Anyways, I had a regular period maybe 11 days ago that ended. And today I'm on day 2 of a whole nother period. And it feels like a scene out of Mean Girls, like a freaking heavy flow and a wide set vagina. I have no idea, what's going on. And I tried Googling it, going on Twitter. Apparently it's the thing. Your COVID vaccine is going to make your period irregular and a little bit heavier. So now I have to figure that out, and it's no fun. But I wish that they would have talked about it so I would have known beforehand.
Hey everyone. So I'm just sat outside Salford Royal. Just had my appointment. Probably tell from my face that it didn't go too well and that I've been crying. I was sent to see an epilepsy specialist. we've already established that I don't have epilepsy, that all my seizures are non-epileptic, so kind of a complete waste of time. It's kind of a step backwards, if anything. I'm really, really pissed off. Yeah, now I've got to be put in another waiting list to be referred to see another kind of neurological consultant who deals with non-epileptic seizures. I've been referred to have an MRI, but not urgently, because apparently I'm not urgent. I was like, okay, well, this is day 18 of me having seizures. Before my appointment, I had a 20-minute fit on the floor. Woke up, there were 6 people around me. I was surrounded by cushions, didn't know how I'd got there. But apparently I'm still not urgent, which is quite hard to take in. So I guess I'll probably spend the rest of my afternoon trying to get in with a private doctor, because I am not having very much luck with the NHS, and quite frankly the way that I've been treated is appalling. So yeah, that's today.
Ran all the tests, and they ran a lot of tests on me because my head, I'm having head issues. My head hurts a lot. Right now it doesn't look like. They gave me some painkillers just for tonight, because they want to see how I'm monitoring, like how I'm doing on the painkillers. And they did some scans of my lungs and my heart, because my heart's racing a lot and my lungs burn and at times. So everything came back normal, other than my spleen is enlarged, which I had just had a CT done a couple months ago because of another issue I have, and my spleen was completely normal as of June 6th, and now it's enlarged. So there's definitely something going on. But the doctor told me that they just don't know. He's like, I just don't know. He was very sympathetic, but he was very honest with me that they just don't know enough about this vaccine to be able to help me. Even finding something wrong with me, they just can do nothing. They can't do anything wrong with me, even though I have stuff going on in my head.
Only because I gotten a lot of messages on my inbox and messenger regarding the Pfizer vaccine and the second dose that I received and what had happened to my legs. I posted pics, and I see my post has been shared many times, so that's a good thing. But also the bad thing is the effects that people have messaged me saying that the pics are not real. I googled the pictures, this can't be real, it's doctored, it's manipulated. I put these marks there. No, they're not anything that I could do. I'm not that technical. I'm 55 years old. I don't start playing around and manipulating pictures. So I figured I would show you guys my legs today. I had the vaccine on June 21st, the second dose. When I had the first dose, I had nothing, no problems, no marks, nothing to do with my immune system or anything. My skin was compromised. This is my effects today, just to show you. So this is my legs. I usually scratch myself to bleed, not on purpose, but you know, I'm using the cream. So these things flake all day long. I got flakes probably where I'm sitting right now. They're gonna probably be flaking. I got flakes in my car. I got white flakes from my skin in my bed. I also have these marks on the side of my body here. Things that I've never had before. I'm a person that likes to wear shorts in the summer. I haven't worn shorts at all this summer. I've only worn jeans or sweatpants. This is also the cream that one of my skin doctors prescribed to me. He was hoping that it would work for me, but unfortunately, $222 down the drain. It does nothing. I also have, I see a lot of people that have posted of excessive scratching and nothing happens. I have just over here on my body, just like below right here, I'm not trying to, I could scratch excessively here like crazy while I'm just watching TV, I'm driving in the car, I'm standing here walking, I get a weird tingling sensation right there on the right hand side, nowhere else, but that is the only place that I scratch. So I just wanted to put out this message. Not saying that you shouldn't get the vaccine. Everyone's different. My wife had both doses and she's fine. My children had both doses. They're both fine. So I'm not saying not to get vaccinated, but I know today our governments are putting a lot of strain on us to get vaccinated, to the point that, you know, they're threatening our jobs, threatening to be able to go out to a restaurant here in Montreal. This is where I live. So, I mean, I know it's a tough time for a lot of us, and, you know, I'm suffering with this right now. I'm going to be starting Silic injections in the next week, which are very expensive injections to counteract the plaque psoriasis that the skin doctor said has now come out due to the vaccine. But I can't go on in my life like not being able to wear shorts and, you know, being embarrassed and hearing anybody say like, God, that's gross. So, you know, it is gross. Thankfully I have enough confidence to put out this video and show other people. I have a lot of confidence in general. I'm a confident guy, but I just wanted people to know that this is very much real, and they weren't pictures that I Googled anywhere.
Okay, and then you can turn around and walk toward me.
Just kind of got to shimmy me.
Okay.
So what I'm currently dealing with, almost got it. Can't open my left eye. Started having really bad pain in my eye, behind my eye. You know. Can't open it. Everything sounds louder and like it's echoey. Oh my goodness, I can't open it.
Hold on to mom's shoulders. Okay. Yeah. Wait for a beat. Got it. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Because it's time for people to fucking realize, do not get vaccinated. Do not. You know, I was a single mom and I was so afraid to lose my job that I got the vaccine. And guess what? It didn't protect me from COVID. And now I've been dealing with so many medical issues that it's not even funny. And I'm currently not working. So why get the vaccine, Joe? Why? Why get it? Because it does nothing but cause medical problems. And they can blame COVID all they want, but I know this is from the fucking vaccine. Like, you don't just end up with an autoimmune disease for nothing. COVID doesn't cause that. It's the vaccine. So for all you unvaccinated people, stay fucking strong. Do not get it.
Hello, everybody. Sorry the update has to be like this, but it's the only time I got. It's not exactly what you think. Been sparked at work, and so I've had to come down obviously to the hospital and get checked, but I've been having terrible heart palpitations since pretty much 4 weeks after my first Pfizer. I mean, you guys know everything else, but you know, they had to do the usual thing, ECG, and you know, last 2 weeks ago it was supposedly getting better at my pericarditis since Pfizer, and yeah, they just informed me then it's still showing irregular, so it's been, you know, what, 5 weeks of colchicine and treatment, and it's still not better. Good note though, after getting sparked, the heart palpitation stopped, so there's a positive. It seems like here everyone is pretty over all this. So yeah, they don't seem too concerned. They're just going to run some tests and make sure, you know, my cardiologist knows what's happening and get back to it.
Madre mía, madre mía, madre mía, madre mía, madre mía. Lo acaban de vacunar ahora. Madre mía.
So I got my third dose of the Pfizer booster vaccine on Sunday. And on Monday, by about 10:30 in the morning, I was having body aches and pains and chills and stuff. Pretty bad. I went home. Then that night, I could not stay awake. I was having fevers, still the chills, still the body aches. Yesterday, body aches and pains. But by the afternoon, I thought I was doing pretty good. Woke up this morning and I have sores all inside my mouth. The fever is back. I still have the body aches. Massive migraine. As much as I love my shots, fucking hate the side effects.
So I was having a good day. I got a new wig. I put on makeup and everything. And I just completely fell apart at work today. So now I look like this. I feel like all I've been doing since my vaccine injury is trying to get back to like my normal self. I feel like it's never going to happen because cognitively I'm just not the same that I used to be. And I so desperately want to go back to someone who is smart and talented and capable of doing things. But now I have to see how my brain is acting that day and figure out how I'm going to be that day and if it's going to be a good day or a not good day. So when people say, yeah, you had a vaccine reaction, but you look totally fine, you must be fine, they just don't get it. I just really want to get back to normal someday, and I don't think it's going to happen.
So this is just a quick little 2-minute video because I realized in my Pfizer experience video, I'll crap on for literally 40 fucking something minutes, and not everyone has the time for that. So anyway, not here to fuck spiders, so let's get on with it. Basically, I talk about my experience getting my first Pfizer vaccination. It wasn't a good one, just to blurt that out for you. Basically, as soon as I received the jab, notable points would have been literally within 10 to 20 seconds, I started to get a weird metallic taste in my mouth. Never quite had anything like that before. And probably within 2 minutes after, I ended up passing out. That was it. Down like a sack of shit. From that point onwards, I had fatigue. I was out of breath, just literally walking around my house. I had vertigo type symptoms where everything was kind of spinning and I couldn't really balance myself. Heart palpitations were, in my opinion, crazy. They were extreme. At night, I'd be laying in my bed and just feel my heart as if it was going to jump out of my chest. Like it had so much torque. Look, I'm not a big guy. And it would literally almost be shaking my entire body. Those severe side effects lasted for 2 to 3 weeks. And again, this is not a sympathy video. This is not a poor me, some crap like that. No, this is just to inform people that vaccine side effects are real. They do happen. And I just want people to know what happened to me, because I'm sure that there's other people out there who had probably a similar experience, especially in terms of the gaslighting from your social groups or your community, or just feeling like that what you're going through is ridiculous because, hey, everyone's got to get vaccinated, and if you're having a weird effect, it's all in your head and you're crazy. That is not true. People are having side effects and they're not good. Mine are definitely quite minor by comparison. You still don't want to experience what I experienced. I don't want anybody to experience this. This has been terrible. But I'm in a shitty situation because obviously I've had one jab, and to continue working in my particular field of work, I do need to be double dosed. Okay, and I'm faced with a shitty decision to basically potentially go through this again, or potentially worse. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's going to happen to me if I take it again, or risk losing my income, risk losing my job. So then I'd basically be a complete burden to society, which is not good. Like, I love my job. I love the people I work with. Everyone's amazing to work with. Yeah, so anyway, if you want, watch the whole thing. It goes for 40 fucking minutes, but basically I just summarized it in what's it been, like 3 minutes. Everyone in my life has been amazing. My friends, love you guys. You've all been great. You've been very supportive. Same as with my family and everyone. So, yeah, just wanted to quickly share my story. If you got the time, feel free to watch it. I'd love to hear if anyone else has had similar experiences. If so, what you did. How did you get through it? Are you better? Did you take the second dose? Did you not? Did you get these on the first? All those kinds of things. These are all things that will probably potentially be good for just collecting data, so people know what can happen, and hopefully the medical professionals will sort this out.
For no reason. I was thinking I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah. Bekumuntu ongakuhle. Asimazi thina uzakhele ethi uphethe umkhuhlane. Asimazi uzakhele kuthiwa abayile emsebenzini ngoba egula.
What was your job before this? Paramedic. Paramedic? Yes. KZN. You were advised ukuthi asivaccinate because we are exposed.
Tonight, I'd like to call on every person who has not been vaccinated to go to their nearest vaccination station without delay.
Government must take responsibility for all the injuries that are experienced by members of the public. They must take responsibility. All the medication that we have, they must pay for that.
We went for the vaccination. Emva kwalokho afake kumoya, later was starting to grow. Then now bathi bazongi-admit afanele ngiyosiro because le qubu livala lomthambo ukhuphula i-oxygen ilethe ebuchosheni. Then I went for operation. When I woke up, sangifake nepipe.
There is no cure for the complications of vaccination.
We say prevention is better than cure. Don't get people sick with what cannot be cured and then give them small change. I mean, what is the value of life?
They said it is safe. You took it because you were told it is safe.
Vaccination is by far the most important way to protect yourself.
You said if you knew that you were going to end up like this, you'd not have taken it. But you took it because the president and the health minister and others have said it is safe.
I was a man of good health. But since he are confused land.
Yeah. They cannot just leave you like that. Your family suffer like this and they don't care. They are not even coming to say, how can we help?
I will never ever take a vaccination because I am a nurse. I know what is a vaccination is.
Manje sasale ngatsam angilazi mina. Because I'm asking for people in these situations. Or I'm going to die. Or I'm going to survive. How?
You're going to win. You will stop this. They will not proceed any further. The foolishness behind this will be exposed.
It's
What?
the sun on
the water?
water.
Your blood pressure is good. How you doing, Fred?
Scared me.
Yeah,
bro.
I understand that, man. Sounds like it's, or looks like you're kind of coming down a little bit, which is good. I'm going to put a bunch of stickers on you and take a good look at your heart, okay? Make sure that's all good. Is anything being coughed up when you cough there? Or is it dry?
I don't know, bro.
No.
I couldn't fucking breathe, man. I thought I was dead.
Yep, no problem. How old are you, Fred?
39.
39.
But every time a nurse or another employee comes down with an adverse reaction, they basically tell them in the ER, they're like, no, it's not an adverse reaction. This is just an intolerance. And they don't report it properly, and they don't address it properly. And I've actually been in contact with somebody in the hospital system that deals with like the charting and the finalization of people's charts. And they want to be anonymous, of course, because they're scared. But they have told me that officially Methodist has told them, do not list any adverse reactions on anybody's chart related to the vaccine. Like, people are being told to not talk about this, not address it, and not label it on charts, basically. Like, us ourselves as employees have to go to the system and document these adverse reactions because Methodist is not doing it.
I wanted anyway.
Yeah. Okay. How long do these last for? Generally, varies.
Varies. Sometimes it's 5 seconds, like that one. The longest was 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's no real big break. It just keeps
going.
It'll stop and then.
Yeah. Do you feel like you can't concentrate properly? Is it affecting your thoughts?
I feel like I'm forgetting stuff.
No.
Good evening. A lot of people on this app have commented that myocarditis is extremely mild and treatable. So I thought we'd bring the man, the myth, the legend on here to describe his experience for you all. This is Elgar. This is my husband. Elgar, can you describe that drive to emergency that night? What were you feeling?
Like I was gonna die. Yeah. It was extremely painful. I felt like there was a hydraulic press crushing from front to back, which I'm a first responder, and from what I've learned, that sounds like what a heart attack is. So that's what I initially thought I was having. Obviously, at that point, we had no idea about the vaccine, if that had anything to do with it. I just thought I don't know, I'm not super healthy. Maybe that's all it was.
What kind of thoughts were going through your mind?
Just thinking, go faster, go faster.
We live at least 20 minutes to our nearest hospital. So it was a long drive, and it was in the middle of the night, and there was freezing rain. It was fairly traumatic. When you got to the hospital, were the nurses or the doctors treating you as if this was something to be taken lightly, or was it serious?
No, yeah, they pulled me in right away, obviously. Not that we usually have a wait, and our wonderful hospital is great. Am I allowed to say the name?
No, just
okay.
don't say the name.
So they admitted me right away, and right away took blood and found out my troponins were super high, super elevated, and started treating me for a heart attack. So I got morphine and gravel with IV. Right away they hooked me to IV because suspected heart attack. And yeah, just went off the blood work and assumed it was heart attack. So I was treated for heart attack for about probably the first, I'd say 12 hours that I was, and by that time I had gotten shipped out to the bigger city hospital too. So yeah.
And how have you felt since you've gotten home?
Slowly better. I took 3 weeks completely off of work. Not doing anything, taking naps for the first time in my life on the couch, which was kind of cool. And then eventually back to work. At work I've had to take a lot of breaks, sit down, a lot of chest pains. I would say last week was sort of the first week where I had days where I didn't have chest pains all day long, which was awesome. So there is definitely progress.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on with him?
Can you breathe, Freddie?
Yeah. You don't have to go to Halifax by hand. I agree. You probably fucking don't do nothing up there, neither. Wait, it's locked. Are you breathing? Yeah.
What leg?
Oh my God. Oh.
See, this is what's wrong, right? I'm 6 months post first vaccine and still in massive amounts of pain and inflammation. And when I talk about it, these are the comments that I get. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, so what's your point? Are you trying to tell me that we're all supposed to be the exact same and none of us have any kind of adverse reaction to different things? Because if that's what you're trying to say, then we should be able to just like give a peanut to somebody with an allergy and just be like, well, I had a peanut.
My name is Alexa Quinter, and I was disabled after taking the vaccine. TikTok might take this down. I don't know. I don't know what level of censorship is on this information right now, but this is just my story. This is not intended to deter anyone from getting the vaccine. I believe that you should make your own choice. Obviously, I felt like it was a good choice for me, and it wasn't. Also, to preface and clarify, I'm not some right-wing extremist with any kind of agenda. I don't think they're injecting us with 5G or microchips. I think that I just had some bad luck, but I do want to get my story out there and share this, and it might help someone. I don't know. So here's just a regular picture of me shortly before the vaccine. I like to show this picture because I'm standing. And here is a picture of me a few weeks after receiving the vaccine. So I got the vaccine on March 19th, and I had just gotten the go-ahead to start traveling for work again. So obviously I wanted to get the vaccine. I felt like that was the best decision for myself and for my family. My husband has MS. I have, a 7-year-old. Right after I got it, I was totally fine. But then about a week later, I started getting some of the more normal symptoms. I was feeling really fatigued and just kind of icky, very nauseated, some headache. But then I was walking with heels. I wore heels all the time before. And I was walking with one of my coworkers, and I just felt like someone had pulled a rug out from under my feet. And it freaked me out so bad because I was like, what was that? And my coworker was looking at me like, hey, did you have tequila for breakfast? And then I was so embarrassed. I apologized. I was like, I don't know what that is. I think I'm just really tired. Well, it didn't go away. I wasn't really tired. It just, I continued to gaslight myself, and it just continued to get worse and worse until I was traveling to Texas, and I was walking back to my hotel room one night after working, and it was a normal shift. I didn't work, any crazy hours or anything. And I started blacking out walking down the hallway to my hotel room. And this is about 3 weeks after getting the vaccine. Again, I was embarrassed. I didn't want anyone to think I was intoxicated because that's what it looked like. But I was literally scaling the walls trying to make it to my hotel room. And, you know, in retrospect, I wish that if I was going to pass out, I wish I would have just let myself pass out in the hall so someone could have found me, because it was really dumb to rush back to my hotel room. But again, I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what was going on. I thought that it was something with me, like that I was doing wrong. I even thought it was anxiety, because as a woman in healthcare, we often get, oh, you're just depressed, you're anxious. Well, yeah, no fucking shit. I digress. That night, I went to the hospital in Texas, and I was admitted pretty quickly, and I was there for 4 days. And I am out of time.
My face will go tingly, and my body goes tingly, and then I kind of feel like I'm just like not in my body. I know that sounds really sometimes in a full conversation, and I just completely black out. Like I get that tingly feeling I was just telling you about, and then I just completely black out. I don't see black. I black out in a sense, like I'm not passing out. I just don't know why we're talking. Like sometimes I'll just be like, what just happened? Now I am a vice president of sales for a PEO, which is like a payroll company on steroids. Been doing my job for 17 years. I'm pretty darn good at what I do. And I can tell you that for the last 7 months, I have had to print every email out from every client and put it on my desk in front of me because I can't remember writing an email 5 minutes ago. Actually, I shouldn't say for the past 7 months, probably for the past like 3-4 weeks. Past 7 months has just been progressively getting worse, but the past several weeks, it's gotten really bad. So other than that, I have a little bit of twitching still, like in my shoulders. Like I'll just see my skin like start thumping and twitching. My chest pain is still pretty bad, and my ankle jerks are still gone from my legs from the Guillain-Barré. Multiple doctors have tested that and it hasn't come back. I don't know if it ever will. I haven't dug into that really yet. My heart rate has lowered since I've been doing hyperbaric treatment and since I've been doing the protocol, my detox, but it still gets pretty high, like to the point to where everyone laughs at me and they make a joke out of it, which I get it. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. You think I'm having heat flashes, whatever, but it's not funny. Like I'm 36. I shouldn't be hot when it's 69 degrees in my house, but I am because my heart rate is always so high. So I've got that going on too. I will tell you what I've improved on. I'm walking, and I'm walking usually without a problem. Sometimes my legs lag and it's like, I feel like I'm walking in weighted water. So if you've ever been like out on the boat and on a sandbar and you're walking through the water and maybe you try to like run, that's kind of what it feels like sometimes. But, you know, a few months ago, back in May, I couldn't walk at all. I was in a wheelchair. So that has gotten better. My heart rate was at a resting 120 to 150. Now it rests at 88 to 90 something. So that's really good. I can't remember anything else. I don't know. Let's just move on to the next question.
I received one more blood transfusion, and that's pretty much all the treatment that we can do. They do 3 rounds of the IVIG, and we wait. So far, it has progressed from what appeared to be a torn Achilles tendon to my left lower limb to now my right toes are numb and tingling. I have complete numbness above that, halfway up my right thigh. My left great toe is numb and tingly. Besides that, I am numb up to my inner groin on the left side. My dorsal and plantar flexion in my right foot is fair. In my left, my plantar flexion is weak / fair, and my dorsal flexion is weak. My range of motion in my right foot is full. In my left, like I said, the dorsal flexion
is weak and limited. So we just wait, and if it decides to go higher, then we come back to the hospital. Get vaxxed, they say. It's fucking retarded.
Tell you that 2 days ago I flew out my first 10-year-old with a heart attack, and I had to fight the doctor in the ER because he's like, 10-year-olds don't have heart attacks. And I argued back and forth for 30 minutes to force his hand to get an EKG to find out that he had almost a complete STEMI, which is ST elevated myocardial infarction, for which you could see it lit up on the 12-lead EKG. And he's like, well, that's not possible. And I'm like, well, he was just vaccinated yesterday. It is very much possible. At any given time, people are getting a hold of me and the nurse advocates at American Frontline Nurses to help advocate, because as you've seen, there is victim shaming that it's anxiety, it's this. But in actuality, if they put down that it was a vaccine injury, the physician, the corporation, the hospital, the clinic, they actually won't get reimbursed. So it gets labeled as anxiety or neuropathy or Guillain-Barré syndrome, when in actuality, it's very realistically a vaccine injury.
On May 28th, I got my first dose of the COVID vaccine. 3 days later, I started experiencing pain in my legs. I noticed I had a really hard time actually picking up my legs to getting to the car or to even get on the bed. I had a really hard time doing that. It felt so painful. Instead of getting better, I just kept getting worse. I had trouble with both legs, and the pain started moving upward towards my arms. I started getting throbbing pain in my arms. I got so scared and concerned that I ended up just going to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they said that I was having symptoms of a stroke or a neurological issue. I've gone through many tests already. It's been a nightmare. I want to go home. They have no idea what's wrong with me. They even said it's a mystery. Here's a part 2 from the other video. So after they ran all the tests, all the results came out normal. They even sent a physical therapist in to come and see me and see what they can do. Even the physical therapist said that she was baffled. She said, I have no idea. I've never seen this before. You can walk perfectly fine, but you can't lift your legs for anything. It feels as if my legs are extremely heavy. When I try to lift them up, my legs start to shake because I'm trying so hard to lift them up and I can't. And I'm just wondering if anybody else has gone through the same thing, because they are already going to send me home without even giving me a diagnosis. Like, they have no idea what's wrong with me. They can't help me. So here's part 3. Sorry it took so long, but they decided to discharge me from the hospital. They still couldn't figure out why I could not lift my legs. All of the tests that they ran on me was normal. I did see a lot of questions asking me if I got tested for MS, if I got tested for lupus, and all these other tests. Yes, they did run all these tests and everything was normal. They couldn't figure it out. So they had to discharge me because they did everything that they could do for me. And the next couple days, I did still have a hard time lifting my legs. And somebody recommended that I try doing acupuncture. 3 days later, I was able to finally lift my legs. It did hurt when I would try to lift my legs, but at least I was able to lift them. It didn't last. It was just temporary. Little by little, it's coming back again. I'm starting to feel all the pain on the left side of my body, pain on the left side of my face. It's like a throbbing pain. And when I try to lift my left leg, again, I'm having a hard time. So little by little, it's coming back again.
Pretty much my story is I had my first dose of Pfizer vaccine about 2 months ago. Within 15 minutes of getting the injection into my arm, I started getting like hot sweats, I started getting a bit dizzy, and then I started having my version of fitting, so that's my whole body just shaking uncontrollably. For me, that lasted for the first time 45 minutes straight. I was at the clinic and they told me that it wasn't a side effect from the vaccine, that I was nervous, so they just told me to lay down and I was just shaking. Anyway, long story short, told me not to go to hospital because it wasn't a reaction. They went on the Pfizer website or whatever, it wasn't a reaction. Anyway, so my friend helped me to the car to just go home and rest, and I was still like this, my whole body. It was really scary. It wasn't a panic attack. I wasn't anxious. Anyway, fast forward a couple of days. I didn't feel too good, but then I started having another one of those fits again. It's not a seizure because I was conscious, so I don't know what medical terminology it is, but my whole body is like this, shaking. For the second one was an hour and a half. For me personally, it was like my jaw would start to lock. My hands would go really like clammy, my whole body, and I'd start shaking from there, and it was actually really painful. Like my just because your muscles are spasming so much, it's kind of like an F45 workout, but like hectic craziness. Anyway, so I actually called the COVID hotline and said, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. They told me to call an ambulance, so I did. I obviously had heart palpitations as well as the shaking and things like that. So after about an hour and a half, it stopped. So this was like 6 weeks ago, maybe like 7-8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, let's just say 2 months ago. And I've been in the hospital in and out so much in between them. The hospitals and doctors weren't sure what was going on, they hadn't really seen it. But I found the first time I went in, they weren't really sure, but the last time I went in, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, they're starting to see more people with my symptoms. So anyway, so I'm dealing with really bad chest pains. It's like really bad pressure on my chest. My cardiologist has diagnosed me with pericarditis, which is inflammation of the heart sac. So where your heart is and then the sac is, there's fluid in between, and it causes a lot of pain. So I've got pretty much 24/7 chest pain, really, really painful. I'm starting some medication for that called colchicine. So that's actually a gout medication. It helps with arthritis, so inflammation. So apparently it's good for people with pericarditis anyway, to help with inflammation. Pretty much 90% of all medical doctors and staff dismissed my symptoms, said I was anxious, so then I had to go pay to see a psychiatrist to rule out that it was mental. He obviously was disgusted and said it's not anxiety, that it is something from the vaccine. So I went back to the hospital with that report from the psychiatrist, and then they referred me to see a neurologist. So apparently they think it's something to do in my brain. Yeah, fun times. But because I haven't got much help from the medical system, I reached out to the community, essentially. I've been speaking out. I've had a lot of trolls, obviously, but I'm just speaking out because the more information I find that helps me, I want to be able to share that and help other people. So so that's pretty much like what I'm trying to do with this. I'm not trying to say, one thing I should probably say as well, I'm definitely not telling people to not get vaccinated. I think, it should be anyone's choice to do what they want to do. Where I live at the moment, 90% of people are vaccinated, so that's great. I'm really happy for the majority of people that didn't have any adverse side effects. The reason why I'm speaking out isn't to say don't get vaxxed. The reason I'm speaking out is for that small percentage of people who are injured. We don't really have much help. And doctors and medical people in Australia have been told that if they say anything that doesn't sort of go with getting vaccinated, they could lose their license, essentially. So a lot of people are not able to speak out, even if their opinions aren't in line with the government's, but that's a whole nother debacle, and I'm not going to get into politics.
So I debated on making this video. I got the vaccine and it just cut my whole body. The first vaccine It was alright. I had some mild side effects. It messed up my cycle a little bit, and I had my blood pressure rise a little bit. I got the second one the other day, and I honestly debated, and I did not want to get the second one. I was convinced that I wasn't going to, even though my family kept telling me, you need to get it, you'll be fine. You got the first one. Everybody in my family was vaccinated, and then it came to no jab, no job. And I feel like my parents didn't understand, and I have a parent that's has a very bad health condition and has COPD, and if he got this virus, he could be at risk and die, and it would be all my fault. So finally, I just got it, and I don't know what made me get it and what convinced me and all this through my head, but I got it. So this is day 3, and I'm having awful side effects. I feel like I'm out of breath constantly. My chest hurts. When I first got it, I automatically, day 1, I got a flash to my chest with like burning. It like went through my throat, and I felt like my throat was itching and stuff, and it was like my tongue and stuff was like feeling like numb and itchy, and that lasted like a day with my tongue and everything. Then yesterday I've had like the fever of like 103, and then now it's down to like 100 and stuff. But I get these really sharp chest pains, and my heart is like pounding super fast. Today and last night I've had like double vision in this eye and everything, and I just don't like, I don't know, just don't be forced and listen to others when it comes to this. Listen to your heart, listen to your gut, because I'm now facing side effects from the second vaccine that I could have avoided, from anywhere from my cycle to my chest, like numbness and tingling in my arms and legs, blurriness in my left eye. And I went to the ER the other day, and they told me I was coughing and stuff, and it was just bronchitis coming on. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know what to do. And this is not telling people not to get the vaccine. I'm telling people, just be mindful and be careful, and don't let anybody force you into something you don't want.
So basically, I'm done counting in parts because apparently I can't count. I'm hoping I'm in a better area now than the BFE area I was in, and I get better reception, because on my end, my voice wasn't matching with my lips, and that's freaking annoying. So a lot of people are asking why I got the booster. I explained that. We went over the Latuda part. A lot of people are questioning my first video I posted. I did post that because that was the only answer I had at the time. Whenever I left that appointment after talking to the doctor, I cried. I called my mom, and I was crying because that wasn't an answer to me. I knew in my body and how, sorry, a side by side just went by. I'm at a fairgrounds. I just knew that wasn't it. I knew what was happening. I just needed the support to back it up. I have 2 providers currently who have put on paper my diagnosis is an adverse reaction to the vaccine. My primary doctor is still pending getting me scheduled for an MRI just to rule out other things going on. If this doesn't resolve, I really don't know what the treatment is besides getting on anti-Parkinson's medication, because that's all I've been offered. However, a lot of people, since I went to social media about this, have contacted me with detox things and some remedies. I am looking into that. I'm just really overwhelmed right now. I did not expect this to go viral, and I appreciate all the support. I also expected there to be some negative ones, and it's what it is. I don't give a shit what you have to say. I got the damn booster in. Fuck me, right? I'm just screwed now. Hopefully not. I just want to raise awareness at this point, because you're not going to see this on the news. You're not going to see anyone saying, hey, this can happen to you if you get the vaccine. The only thing we are seeing is people saying, we're mandated to take this or you lose your job. Get this vaccine and you get money. Get this vaccine and you get this. No, you are being forced by the media and the government to get this. And I'm telling you, this is what could happen. Yes, I got it on my own. I was not mandated. I've always been pro-vaccine. I'm vaccinated with everything else, up to date on my shots.
Early last Saturday morning, about midnight that Sunday night, I stood up to go to bed and I fell. Had no legs. Let's fast forward to the day on Saturday. From my waist down, I still cannot use my legs. So I'm pretty much paralyzed right now. I will walk again. I will ride again. I will run again. I got PT today. 2 hours, another 2-hour session that went very well. We all know I need to be moving on to aggressive therapy. But the 2 girls that are working with me are making it up as we go, and we're literally making it up as we go. Today marks 150 days, which makes it 5 months. So how am I doing? Well, I'm no longer paralyzed. That's a good thing. I still have severe paresthesia. And what that is you know how your feet feel when your feet have gone to sleep and you go to stand on them? Well, both of my feet feel like that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, along with the pressure and the compression that runs up my legs as if I have on about 15 pairs of compression stockings. Along with that, I have this band of pressure around my chest and my abdomen that never goes away. And then I have my back that feels like an army of ants in army boots just running up and down my back all day, every day.
We did it. Over a mile walk today.
Yes.
You going to walk today?
Gonna walk today.
As you guys know, I've got COVID for the second time. Been a year since I was diagnosed with it the first time. Got the Moderna shots. And now, after Moderna shots, I got the blood clots. Now I got COVID for the second time. They're leaning towards the Delta variant. Now they're putting me on oxygen. I had some CT scans done of my organs and stuff, and come to find out there's some cysts on my kidneys and cysts going up and down my spine. Getting ready to get an MRI done. They're not sure what's causing all that. Got some lesions going on back there too. Again, please pass this around. All I'm looking for is prayers, you guys, and angry reaction. Hey, buddy, duet this. Get angry for me, and but send me some love too, brother. I need you guys. I'm scared. Thank you.
A Launceston family is pleading for help after their teenage daughter fell ill after receiving the Pfizer vaccine. Faith Ranson has been in and out of hospital and suffers almost daily tics after experiencing what a leading doctor admits was an adverse reaction to the vaccine. From a happy and healthy teenage girl to this. Faith Ranson received the second dose of the Pfizer vaccine in August last year.
3 days later, I woke up one morning to go to school and I started feeling really unwell. I didn't feel right, like something just wasn't right, and I was in a lot of pain.
What followed was months of doctor visits and specialist appointments trying to get to the bottom of the 16-year-old's pain.
Come on. 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 Yeah, all right. Breathe. Come on. Come on. Get up. Get up. There you go. Hold up. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Breathe.
After rolling them out then to the kind of general public, the elderly and in nursing homes in the area, we would get elderly in with COVID. It was kind of interesting. And it was weird. It was almost like a week after they would get their first dose, they would test positive for COVID. And then we started seeing patients coming in, I got my vaccination and a week later they're in with pneumonia. I can say for sure in 2021, this is the year of pneumonia. Independent of COVID, I've never seen people with so many pneumonia, sepsis, and even in the middle of summer, all summer, that's what we would get in the hospitals, pneumonia. After the vaccine rollout, I definitely noticed an uptick in heart attacks, strokes, blood clots, gastrointestinal bleeds, gastrointestinal complaints, appendicitis. We even saw pancreatitis, recurrent cancers. It was noticeably increased, where it wasn't just me noticing it, everybody seemed to notice it. It became clear to me that there was something wrong. I knew nothing of VAERS, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. I didn't know about our responsibility to report. It was never even talked about when these vaccines were rolled out. I mean, you'd hear it in the news here and there, but there was never this push to make sure providers were made aware that if you're getting patients in the hospital with issues, these issues, whatever, that here, you got to go to this website and start reporting and start paying attention to stuff. That was never educated to us at all. And I went on the website, I looked, and the first thing I noticed was that it said healthcare providers are required by law to report certain adverse reactions to VAERS. And I said, what do you mean? Like, what law? And then you look further, and it had a whole section on it, exactly what you're supposed to report. Specific things you're supposed to report to VAERS after the COVID vaccine rollout. So that's when I started reporting patients on my own. Well, very quickly that became a full-time job in and of itself. I would say within 3 weeks to a month, I had already had 50 patients reported. And that was just of the providers that were willing to tell me about patients, recognize that there may be a problem. So I went back to my administration and I said, I need help. I can't do this all myself. It's overwhelming. I'm on the phone with the CDC all the time. I'm on the phone with these patients. I need more people to know about it so they can help me and we can do the right thing. But that was met with then resistance, because that's when the vaccines were really starting to get pushed. Everybody's got to get vaccinated. This is how it's going to go. And by me admitting that we need to report because there may be some issues, it would create vaccine hesitancy amongst the healthcare workers, amongst the staff, amongst the other staff, amongst the patients. Well, that's when things changed, because I wouldn't be quiet about it. And what I did was I put envelopes in our emergency room and told many of the providers, hey, if you get a patient that comes in and they just got their vaccine, or you think something might be related in any way, go ahead and put their demographics in the envelope, and then I'll take care of it and call the patient and get the report done. Thinking it was only going to be a few reports a week. No, it turned into, like I said, a full-time job very quickly. When you roll out an emergency use product that you're going to mass release on the population, wouldn't you assure that you have safety mechanisms in place? The first thing you would do is assure that people were educated about side effects, what to report, who to report to, before you did that. That should have been the first thing. Educate your healthcare providers who are going to see these people in the hospital. Well, then how come we didn't get educated as healthcare providers? Well, I was told we're supposed to educate ourselves. It's not their responsibility.
I too did not want to get the vaccine. I've never had a flu shot in my life. Injecting experimental drugs into me, not something I ever wanted to do. Traveling between the state that I live in, Hawaii, and California, where I have family, two states that have archaic travel restrictions. I decided between the pressure of that and my airline that was going to require mandate vaccine, I went and got the jab. I did it at 11:30 in the morning in Hawaii. Everything was normal. I went to bed, woke up at 3:30 in the morning with my heart pounding out of my chest. I went to the ER. They hooked me up quickly to EKG, IVs, did blood work, quickly determined that I was in atrial fibrillation. It's a major cause of stroke. As Lee said, there's critical phases of flight where this stuff, when I certified to go fly, I have to check off a box before I go fly all you lovely people wherever you want to go, before I take that multi-million airplane. I check this box and it says I'm fit to fly. That was before COVID. That's when you knew, yeah, I have food poisoning, I'm cold, have a cold, whatever. Here, you never know when the genie's going to come out of the bottle and smack you down. I could have stroked out at 100 feet trying to land an airplane with 40 airplanes lined up next to us. I could have just pushed down on that stick before the person next to me could do anything. It's all over for a lot of people. Not a good scenario. Pete Buttigieg isn't telling you anything about this. The administration is not. The NIH, the CDC, they suppress all this stuff. There's a number of pilots out there that are fearful to come forward and speak. They're fearful of retribution. There's guys that are going to work with crushing pains in their chest, in their heads. They're scared that they're going to lose their careers because they're 25 years old. This has got to stop.
My name is Danae, and I am your healthcare hero. I've spent the last 2 years in the front lines of this virus. When the vaccine became available, I didn't want it, but I felt the duty to lead by example and do what was best to protect my community, my family, my patients, because that's what I was told that this would do. But let me tell you what it did do. On January 10th, my life changed forever. What started as a headache, 13 hours after my vaccine, ended up being inflammation in my brain, increased intracranial pressure. I have neurological deficits such as a stutter, twitches, tremors, which recently led me to falling and breaking my foot. I have blood clots and I am on daily blood thinner injections. I am a guinea pig with no definite answer if I will ever be fixed. I have spent $20,000 on treatment, IVIG, plasmapheresis. I'm on 23 pills a day and no change to show for it. Doctors don't listen, and after multiple hospital visits, I can no longer work. I am real, the danger of this is real, and I am here tonight because I want to make sure that you are okay with sitting here and looking at me and being responsible for every child injury that comes after me.
So here's the deal, okay? Months and months back, my dad got the shot because he wanted to travel. Okay, he ended up with blood clots. He ended up with cancer in his lung. We don't know really what caused that, but it came right after the shot. They're saying it was a CPAP machine, Philips CPAP. So either way, now my son's in bed sick. My son had the shot twice because he wanted to go to concerts. Okay, because of the fear mongering. So he was like, man, Mom, I can't go do anything, so I'm gonna go get the shot. Typical millennial. Now he's in bed. Can't get him into the urgent care center across the way. They're completely booked. They don't know how long the wait's gonna be. It's the ones that are vaccinated that are getting sick. Don't know what's in that vaccine, but it is killing immunities down where they are getting sick. Wake up.
So I have been reluctant to make this video. I'm having some effects from the J&J shot. I have Bell's palsy, so I can barely move the left side of my face, and I have neuropathy in my feet. And it's been about a month since this started. Slowly getting better. I'm not trying to be the poster child for not taking a shot, but these are the effects and stuff that they're not talking about. And it's been really hard to work. It's been difficult and hard to eat. And I'm just going to keep people posted on my progress and see how it goes from here.
Hey guys. Man, I have just been blown up, and not by the right people. Being called a sheep, that I deserve to die because I made the decision to try and help my community, help the world fight this COVID virus. I did research. I talked to people. I saw people getting it and were fine. That's why I did it. Yes, I regret it. Please stop calling me a sheep. ridiculous, absolutely rude. Also, my mental health is not a factor in this. People saying that my fear of the vaccine is causing these tremors, absolutely ridiculous. Is it causing my loss of sight in my right eye? Is it causing my loss of hearing in my right ear? Is my fear causing my throat to start to not work anymore? Paralysis. I'm actually having a hard time eating this morning. I'm very sore from how bad I was tremoring yesterday. They're not super bad this morning, but I can definitely tell that the propranolol, I can't even say the word of the medication. It's an anti-tremor medication, but it did help yesterday, but I'm too tremory to go to the pharmacy to get it. I'll have to wait until Tyler gets home to take it, but my body is just so extremely sore from how bad I was tremoring yesterday at the hospital. My head fell onto my shoulder. My arms just completely tightened up and went stiff and straight. Like I could not put my arm up. I could not put my arm down. I couldn't move my hands. My hands were stuck in positions like this, and I couldn't expand my hand. I couldn't move my hand. I couldn't move my arm. And then my right leg got very tense and lifted up, and I could not push my leg back down. I was in this state for probably about 15 minutes. It was really scary. It was the worst episode I have had so far. I'm very grateful to now be getting help from you, Deb. Thank you to those who are supporting me and defending me. I am a real person. I made a decision, and not knowing that it would do this.
First one I just had a really bad headache and throwing up because of the headache. That was it. And then the second one I got on Thursday, and then Friday my arm was double the size over here, then red. The neck, it was twitching right here on Saturday, and then this was down on Sunday, and then Monday I couldn't hardly walk, and my throat was hard to swallow, so I couldn't eat in the hospital, and so the speech therapist had to work with me swallowing even my pills, and that's really, and then in my paperwork it shows that I have a demyelinating disease, but it's unknown. Well, some of the, if you get a injection, will cause demyelinating disease as well. I'm a hairstylist and I love it, but I was really good at it. But now after all this, I haven't been able to work since that Friday. I took my vaccine on Thursday, April the 15th, which I have this from Walgreens.
Why did you take the vaccine?
You could say peer pressure, and like I didn't want to lose a lot of my clients, so I just decided to make them comfortable. So I had a neurologist at LSU that told me that my symptoms were from anxiety and that I need to see cognitive therapy. It's better to trust God and just let your body fight how it's gonna fight COVID, because now that I'm in this situation, they're kind of throwing it under the rug, like I have anxiety.
So I'm pretty sure we probably all know someone who has been vaccinated that hasn't had any adverse effects whatsoever. Adverse events happen. They've been totally fine, no reaction to it. They're good to go. So obviously that reinforces their delusion that we're conspiracy theorists and we're crazy and this isn't really happening and that there's not a depopulation agenda taking place. And this is the thing, it would have made no sense whatsoever for them to have a jab put out that was going to kill every single person that it came in contact with immediately, because that would raise way too many questions and too many alarms. So what they did instead is called the advocate approach. The advocate approach is essentially, if you have a tray of 100 vaccine doses that, say, 70 of them are totally fine, benign, they're saline, they're salt water, whatever the fuck they are, they're nothing, and the other 30 are straight poison. So those 30 people are going to die, but it's pretty likely, and we've seen it already, that the doctors and probably some of them, their family members, whatever, are going to make excuses and they're going to decide, they're going to make the ruling that it's because of something else, that it's totally unrelated to the vaccine. And then the other 70 people that got the benign placebo, essentially, doses of, on that tray of 100 doses of vaccine, they are going to advocate to people that, oh, I'm fine, I got that and I had no side effects and I'm perfectly fine. There's nothing sinister going on here, like I had no reactions. And that is the advocate approach. So there's 30 people dead and more than twice that number are fine because they were given the placebo so that they can run around and convince more people to go get this jab. And the people that they're convincing to go get it have no idea if they're going to get a placebo or if they're going to get the poison doses. That's how that's happening. Just to clarify that if anyone was still wondering.
I'm Morgan Wallace. I'm a 10-year employee of New Hanover County. I worked in the cardiovascular ICU for 5 years. I was your last line of defense with COVID. We ran your heart and lungs outside your body with your chest open while you were bleeding on the floor. And what I realized was that patients were needlessly dying because of government's withheld policies for treating COVID. Everyone who died with COVID should be considered murdered. Early treatment has always been affected. I walked out of the hospital on the mandate day. I have my own practice, and I am the only person in town treating COVID patients prior to hospitalization. I also watched the entire staff at the hospital, including in my unit, get vaccinated and then get COVID, amongst all kinds of other ailments. You have now loaded your body with millions of spike proteins, and you are a ticking time bomb for cancer, blood clots, and whatever kind of ailment may come up in your body. And I'm tired of hearing people go and ask doctors, can they be treated for COVID, and their only option is a vaccine or go home or go into the hospital where you're not going to make it out. I will be happy to treat any one of you for COVID prior to going to the hospital because early treatment has always worked. I'm a member of the FLCCC Alliance, NC Physicians for Freedom, and the Medical Freedom Summit. And I would ask y'all to please stop choosing fear and putting masks on our kids. The vaccine is not going to work. Early treatment has always worked, and government mismanagement of patients is why people have died. And families have realized this, and they are rising up, and they are going to come after governments and the hospital. I was highly decorated and highly respected at New Hanover. I was the November 2020 Employee of Excellence, and I had a job opportunity this year from the chief medical director at this hospital, and I chose to walk out and stand up for what is right. So putting these masks on our kids is not going to help, nor is vaccination, and we all need to realize that. It is out, the cat is out of the bag, and people are speaking globally, including the inventor of the vaccine.
This would not be the first time, if it happened, that a vaccine that looked good in initial safety actually made people worse. There was the history of the respiratory syncytial virus vaccine in children, which paradoxically made the children worse. One of the HIV vaccines that we tested several years ago actually made individuals more likely to get infected.
It's time to roll up your sleeves and get the shot. And if you already have, let's talk to somebody else we know who hasn't and let them know now is the time to get this done. And the bottom line is that getting vaccinated is safe. We, I think, all embrace, whatever our background, the spirit of love thy neighbor. And getting vaccinated is truly an extension of that. And it's about not only our neighbor next door, it's about the man on the side of the street. It's about seeing in the face of a perfect stranger a friend and interacting with them in that spirit.
中国疫苗大家都在抢，别的国家朝思暮想，有的地方总统打到首相，非常安全也有保障，每支疫苗都有身份证，查查号码就可辨认，一人一苗一码全程可追溯，绕你360度提供最佳保护。有人害怕不敢打，保持观望，其实膀子痛发热都是正常现象。为啥喊我打嘞？打来干啥子哎？改变观念和看法咱们不能讲，如果你不打我不打，都在想吃瓜。国门打开，感染的风险就会增加，迅速构建保护屏障，关系你我他，复工复产复商复市，咱们要信专家。
My question is, when am I going to get the vaccine?
Great question, Avir. You're going to be able to get your vaccine as soon as you turn 5. And I know you're excited and I know you're eager. In some places across the country, you can even start making your appointment now for shortly after your birthday. So you can see if you can do that. But we're very, very excited that we can now see vaccines from 5-year-olds to 11-year-olds. And I'll say on top of that, the various vaccine companies are working very, very hard to try and see if they can't develop vaccines that'll be safe for kids even younger than 5. But that's going to take a little longer, but everyone's working very, very hard on those kinds of things.
Please, can I have my vaccination now?
Oh, sorry.
Hi! I got my vaccination today. But Dr. Molly didn't have any more special shiny Hobbity Voo stickers. And I was disappointed. Pando thought my vaccination hurted, and he was scared. So I told Pando that my vaccination didn't hardly hurt at all.